have not done an episode since I was at the Cherry Point Marine Corps Air Show, which if you've not got to watch that video, check it out because it is some awesome shots of the F-35-22, the Blue Angels, and the very last ever Harrier demo in the United States. Anyway, this is the C-47, also known as the DC-3. It was the DC-3 before it became a C-47 when the World War II started and they needed to convert some aircraft over for the military effort, and thus the C-47 was born. So that's obvious what we're going to be covering today. This is going to be the code and start tutorial along with how to get your parachuters out of the aircraft, and finally we're going to follow up with the glider and how to get it towed up into the air, land it, and get out your equipment. This was added on Microsoft Flight on the 80th anniversary of D-Day, which was in my time yesterday, actually. This is June 7th today as of this recording. Had some school and stuff, blah, blah, blah. I'm in summer school trying to get it done faster, so I didn't have time to do it yesterday, sadly. But that's okay. We do today. So this is the lead plane, C-47, out of the livery selection. You do need to make sure you have that one selected in order to drop your parachuters. The tow plane one from the livery selection cannot be flown. Not sure why, but I guess there's a placeholder so you can be towed by it, I guess. Anyway, let's hop on in and let's get started on how to start this girl up. Alright, so here we are in the cockpit of the C-47 now. So a few things you're going to want to take note of before getting started is where some of your basic stuff is. The one that was hidden for me for a while, for a few moments till I figured it out, was where the cowl flaps are located. It's these two switches over here. You can't see them from your normal seat, which this is the normal seat. You can see the left engine, but you can't see the right engine. So those are kind of important to know beforehand. That way, once you're in flight, you know how to get to them and change them real quick. At the tail wheel lock is way down here. You can't see it from any position, but it should start in the unlock position, which I'm pretty sure is pulled toward us like that right there. And there's cross feeds and stuff like that. You shouldn't have to use that a whole lot. But that's the two things I'm going to point out first, really, for your controls. Everything else you can pretty much see from where you're at for the most part. So anyway, to get this started, we're going to go ahead and turn on our, if I can get to it, down here, our warning light right there. Just the one right there. And while we're over this direction, we're going to go ahead and turn on our fuel selection. Turn the right one over to our right main, and turn your left one over to, you guessed it, left main. We're going to go ahead and make sure our fuel richness is all the way up. Our propeller RPMs are all the way up, and our carb stuff is pushed all the way forward. You can go ahead as well and just crack your throttle open a little bit there, that's fine. Now we're going to go over to our ground power and get it started. And let me see if this shows this. Yes, it does. Once you turn your ground power over, it's kind of cool. It gives you some neat little models out here. You got a little dude in his little Jeep. Got a handy dandy fire extinguisher, some old school chocks, and the old school ground power unit. It's pretty neat. You can even see where it brings down the compartment to get to do the ground power. Pretty neat, pretty neat. Now we're going to go ahead and get some of our lights on, position lights, and that was actually already on. Pilot heat is already on, and I actually want that off. Let's see. It must actually, yeah, it must save where you last had it at, actually, because this is where I left everything when I last had it. That's interesting. I didn't know it would do that. So let me just put that back there. Don't do any of that I just did. I'm resetting it up so it should be how yours should be. Okay, yeah, that looks like about it, I think. So, anyway, here is your magnetos. You may be familiar with them if you've ever flown any other prop planes. That hasn't changed in history. We still have them. So you can go ahead and turn them to both. I ain't going to get into all that too much, but each engine has a left and a right one for redundancy, and you want to always use both. You can test to see if left and right is working, which you're supposed to in real life. You should notice RPM drop, blah, 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 and then you know you're good to go. However, I don't have failures on, and I don't even know if that would be a failure in here, so I'm not really worried about that. You do want to make sure this knob is pushed in. That is for your ignition. And you want to make sure these are in the middle. Well, that one's in the middle. And here's our boost pumps. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and get ready and start the right engine. So we're going to turn on our booster pump. And then we're going to go over here to our Energizer tab, and we're going to use our scroll wheel, or I think you can click and drag too, but we're going to turn it to right, and we're going to leave it there for just a couple seconds. And then the mesh, we're just going to click it, leave it there for a couple seconds, and then engine primer on. And if I've done everything right, it should start the engine. Pretty neat little animation there. I do like it. Alright, so cool. There we go. We did it right. The only thing I don't really like about this aircraft right now is the interior audio sounds horrible. Like, I like what's there, but it has no bass whatsoever. Like, it sounds like I'm in like a tiny plane with no bass. I don't know. Anyway. I mean, if that's all I've found so far that I don't like, I'm fine with that. Alright, so anyway, everything should default back to normal where you just had it. Primer should automatically go back. The Energizer should go back. We're going to leave the booster pump on for now. So go ahead and get ready, and we're going to do the left engine as well. Exact same process, except with, you know, the left engine buttons there. So we're going to turn it on, and the Energizer is just going to go up this time. Again, just wait a couple seconds, and then just click the mesh. Wait a couple seconds, and engine primer on for the left. And if done right, again, it should start up. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Alright, now that we have two good engine starts, we're going to turn off our ground power. Battery power is on. I think it was actually already on to begin with, so make sure that's on before you disconnect your ground power. You can start the plane without the battery on because you're using ground power, but once you turn that battery off, you're just going to lose some of your old avionics and lights and stuff, and your radio. Your engines won't turn off because that's why we use magnetos and prop planes. They generate their own power. Kind of like lawnmowers, actually. I don't know if you've ever noticed this. If you know anything about cars, cars have alternators. Lawnmowers do not have lawnmowers. They actually use magnetos, just like an airplane, to generate their own electricity. Alright, fun fact of the day is over. So let's go ahead and turn on our landing lights here. And our P-dot heat. And we are good there. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, looking good, looking good. Let's see what our gauges look like. RPMs look good, which we can actually pull back on the throttle just for a minute now that it should be pretty decently halfway warmed up. Fuel pressure looks good, all that should be good. oil temperature on the left's a little low. It's still kind of warming up, actually. It'll be warmed up by the time we are going to taxi, I'm sure, or done taxiing. So, alright, let's get to taxiing. Oh yeah, and by the way, I'm not at a normal airport. Since it is the anniversary of D-Day, I am somewhere near Utah Beach. And there's a real player behind me. Let me guess something for D-Day. And he's swerving like crazy. So I guarantee he is in a P-51D Mustang. Let's just see. How did I know? P-51. He is apparently not used to trying to land a tail dragger. They're very difficult. Hey Johnny, Utah or whatever, happy flying. We got Archangel over here and another C-47. I imagine there's going to be a lot of people around here. Yeah, there's another DC-3, the regular DC-3, another regular DC-3. It looks like a Spitfire right there, P-38 Lightning. Yeah, we got a lot of people over here. Paying our respects to our heroes of the greatest generation. Anyway, so yeah, we're over here near Utah Beach. We're just to the northwest of it at whatever this airport is. I'll let you pronounce that yourself. But yeah, you can see where we're at. Right here, down here is Utah Beach, this whole area. And yeah, so I do not know this area whatsoever other than Utah Beach. Do not know the airport. So yeah. Alright, let's get to taxiing and get ready for takeoff. Alright, so just release your parking brakes and just apply a little bit of throttle here. And as long as your tail lock is off, you should be able to go ahead and see some response, and mine is off. If your tail lock is on, just like I showed in the beginning of the video, just go down there below the center console and just click it, and it will allow you to steer with the tail wheel. Otherwise you would never make it. Oh look, I just got a low flyby from probably the guy in the 51, which by the way is my favorite airplane of all times, at least in the generation that it was around. They're still around too. And if you go to the Cherry Point Airshow video I did upload, there's actually jack aces. It's two P-51s. You can see I did add the videos of them flying in formation together and zooming right over us at 400 miles an hour. It was beautiful. Nothing like the sound of a P-51. Alright, so here we are coming up on the hold short line. I'm going to get a external view real quick because, like I said, I don't know this airport. Oh look, they're back out here. That's kind of odd. I guess they show up whenever you're stopped. Okay, so yeah, we look good. Alright, so let's get some power going here. Flap set down one notch. Go ahead and trim my nose up just a little bit. I'm going to put it to 6%. And that's just using my little gauge up here. If you don't have that, then you have to use the one that comes with Microsoft Flight. Alright, so overshot that just a little bit. So here we go. Let's slowly apply a little bit of power and get lined back up with the center line. And now we look pretty good, and look here, low pass of what should look like a P-51. Can't wait for correct model matching. That would be amazing. Alright, we can definitely tell our speed is alive. Tail wheel is off the ground. 100 knots on the indicated, and we have liftoff. And go ahead and retract my landing gear and positive rate of climb, so flaps up as well. Let's see, I'm heading 282, so I'm heading to the west, so let's do a somewhat 180 here in just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and retrim my nose out a little bit here. Got some great rate of climb. A little windy over here today. And as soon as I get set up here in a comfortable altitude and direction, I'm going to go over the autopilot, which is not really an autopilot per se, but it semi-behaves as one. Let's just take us a nice little bank here. Nice little, I don't know, 20-degree bank or so. Go ahead and pull back on the throttle just a little bit, keep from overheating the engines. I'm about 3,000 feet AGL, which is decent. I'm not necessarily going to try to hold it perfectly, but I'm just at a comfortable altitude there. Whoa, a little gust of wind there. Just going to get kind of lined up with the coast here. Yeah, buddy, we got some wind out here today. Wind's coming from our back right from 287. I'm just going to set it up about like this. So, okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do with your autopilot, like I said, this is not your traditional autopilot. So you're going to be using this little instrument cluster right here. Sorry, I'm trying to steer and do this all at the same time. First thing you're going to do is you're going to want to, this is the gyro, you're going to want to line it up, but before you do that really, you don't have to do it first, but that way you don't forget, is behind this seat over here, there's this little wall. This is for hydraulics and stuff. Click the center of this and move it to the right and lock it back in. This is going to allow you to, this is going to allow you to use your gyro. So what we're going to do is we're going to line it up with the heading we are best we can on this insanely windy day. We're just going to line them both up. I'm going about 252 right here. Let's see. Get the bottom one lined up. Now we're going to line up the top one, which actually is perfectly lined up right there. It looks like pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Alright, so now that we got that, you're going to, this button here goes up, down, make sure it's facing up. Go ahead, this is basically your on button. So go ahead and turn it on. And basically that is turned on the autopilot guidance system per se. This is for your elevation control, so you'll scroll up on it if you want to nose up some, and you'll scroll down if you want to nose down some, which will obviously make you descend. And this is your bank angle. Scroll to the right and voila, you're going to bank to the right. And if you scroll to the left, you're going to naturally scroll bank to the left. Keep in mind, with traditional normal autopilot systems like you have today, they account for wind and your ground track basically. So in this, if you have a lot of wind, like right now my wind is coming from my back right, so it's going to be pushing me to the left, so I might have to keep mine turned just slightly to the right to account for that, to help keep me on the straight path I wish to go. It just depends on which way you want to go and how much the wind is affecting you, that kind of stuff. It is just insanely gusty here today. My goodness. These troops are going to have fun jumping out of this. Alright, so now that I have the autopilot set up and pretty much the way I want it, I'm going to go over how to drop your troops. And you can also look back here and actually see them. Hello guys. Hello Easy Company. Challenge. Only people that have, well, only certain people may get this or can answer this. It has nothing to do with aviation per se. I want to have the first person that can name the, let's see, who was Captain Dick Winters? Let's just do that. First person that comments wins. What do you win? Bragging rights. That's pretty much it. Okay, so now that challenge is done, so we got our troops back there. So if you look on your overhead panel here, you're gonna have these 3 red switches. That stands for cold and dark start. Honestly, I don't know what that does. That stands for quick start. That, don't know what that does. I mean, other than the names are kind of obvious, but I've never actually used them. This one here is actually for your troops. So as soon as you press it, they're going to start jumping. So get you a cool camera set up where you want it to be at, so you can see your guys jump. Never noticed he actually sat right there on the edge when I've done it. I've kind of been zoomed away a little more. So yeah, we're going to do that, and to keep, wow, we're over the ocean. Poor guys, we don't want to drop them over the ocean. They have to swim. Okay. Getting back over land. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Alright, since it's D-Day, this is kind of a D-Day episode. What made Easy Company, when they jumped out of their aircraft, what made them land in the wrong spot? What happened to make them jump out of the airplane at the wrong spot? There's question number 2. Alright, so whenever you're ready, once you are ready to have your troops jump, you'll literally just press that button and watch and enjoy. So here we go. And you can see them jumping. It's pretty cool because you can see like their little parachute. I don't know what they're technically called. It just opens the chute. Yeah. Yes, very, very cool. I don't know how long you can see them. I've never actually watched them like all the way. Oh, they're disappearing. Bye. Thank you for your service. Okay, but there we go. That is how you drop your troops. And you can close that back and it does not reset. Oh look, we got a dude here flying with us. We go to a regular. Let's see, what is he in? 51? No, he's in a DC-3 as well. It shows him as a Piper. Oh my gosh, I can't stand that. It'd be so cool to, if it model matched right now, we could both be in DC-3s. Or I mean, P-47s. Oh my gosh, P-47s. C-47s. But yes, so there we go. That is how you drop the troops. Actually did not mention that now we are in cruise. We need to turn these to trail so the engines can stay warmer. Anyway, so let's find an airport to land at and we'll do our landing. Alright, so here we are coming up on a airport. Don't know the name of it. I probably couldn't pronounce it even if I looked it up. It's just to the southwest of Utah Beach. But yes, here we are. So our airspeed's about 140. We're going to go ahead and slow up a little so I can get my flaps and gear out. This is a tail dragger, so there's a few things different about tail draggers. If you're not used to them, one, as soon as you land, never hit the brakes, or you're going to nosedive. Two, let it roll as much down as possible on the runway. Three, lastly but not least, once you do get to use the brakes, make sure you pull back on your stick so your elevators pitch up, so it actually pushes the tail wheel into the ground and keeps it on the ground. It keeps you from nosediving and flipping over. So here we are low enough speed. Let's go ahead and pull our landing gear out because they do take a little bit of time. And let's go ahead and throw some flaps down, just depending on how close you are in your airspeed. You'll have to just judge on how much flaps you want. There's like eight or nine positions for flaps for this thing. It's crazy. There's so many. So I'm at 33% right now, my flaps. So degree-wise, don't exactly know what that is. I don't know where the gauge is for that. Probably about 20% though, 15%. Of course, just as you come in, just slow it up. About 100 on indicated now. A little over 3/4 of the way through my flaps. One thing you'll notice with this aircraft is that window post is like right in the way. Makes it tricky. So you kind of got to use your imagination and memory as to where the runway is, or just, you know, move your view over. That also works. Alright, full flaps, about 80 on the indicated. Gears down, looking good. Pull back throttle to about 10%. No throttle now. I'm going to start my flare. $70 and perfect, smooth. Again, not using brakes, just letting it roll and letting it settle itself. Whoa. Not the best on that. I think it's a grass runway, got plenty of room. Wind tried to push me a little bit there. Really didn't need to use brakes, but again, if you do, make sure you pull back on that stick. So I'm pulling back, that way when you do hit the brakes, it does not nose over. And we'll just pull over here somewhere. Really don't know if there's probably like no technical taxiways or something. I don't know. I mean, it's just a regular like grass area airport. Nothing crazy. And so yeah, we'll just say this is where we're gonna park. So parking brakes on, and you know everything's just done in reverse. Go ahead and hit your ground power, landing lights off, feet on heat off. Just pull your ignition, turn your magnetos off, turn off your boost pumps, lights, camera action. You can do all those other ones if you wish, but it's basically turned off now. So just turn off your ground power and then your battery. And then as you can see, Microsoft just captured that as a flight. And so yeah, so that is the C-47. Beautifully well done. And for only $10 on sale right now, you get it and the WACO glider, which I'm getting ready to cover next. Livery looks cool. I like it. I really enjoy it. Sounds good for the most part. Exterior sounds the best. And the model looks pretty good too. And of course, dropping the troops is fun. So next will be the glider. And we'll probably just do it at this airport because this is a pretty neat airport. Alright, so I'm going to start the video for the glider right here. And for a specific reason, I didn't realize this at first. It took me a few moments to figure it out. So once you are in your page and you want to go to the glider, simply click your glider, which I know mine looks different. I have a different mod here. This is what yours would look like, unless you have the one I do. But yeah, just pick your glider and find your airport you want to take off from, which this is the airport we was just at in the C-47. Les say, I guess that's how you pronounce that. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. But yeah, you'll want to hit departure, and now the big thing is open your glider page here. Launch method. That is not going to work. You'll get up to like 30 knots, probably, maybe, if that. Pick the tow plane. That's all you gotta do. And then hit launch. Alright, so here we are in the glider at the runway attached to the C-47, ready to get this Skytrain in the air. So one thing to note before you take off: if you've never used gliders on Microsoft Flight, then you will not know how to do this. Go to your controls page and pick whatever you want this keybind to be, and I'll show it to you so you know what you want it to be. But type in winch, and you'll see this tow plane and winch release. Bind that to something you want, and just remember it. Mine's the star on the number pad. That might be default. I can't remember if I changed it or not. But yeah, make sure you have that, because that's going to be when you're ready to release your winch. Or if something crazy starts to happen and you're going to crash you and the plane, you might want to release it so neither one of you crash. Second thing is when you are ready to start, you want to wag your rudder left, right, left, right. That's what indicates that you're ready to take off. This guy will, whoa buddy, what's wrong with your arm? Do you have a dislocated right arm? I think he does. Poor dude. That'll just indicate, you'll see him wave his arm and then you'll start taking off. So anything, we can get our recognition lights on here. Let's see. That didn't turn them on. Don't know where. There we go. Navigation lights. Landing lights, right there. Now they're on. Alright. So again, this is a glider. There's no engines. Hence, that's why it's called a glider. Once you take off and you hit your buttons for gear up so you can reduce your drag, they disappear, which in real life they just came off. That's because they did not need that extra weight. They did not want the extra weight. That's weight they could do without, so they could carry more troop and extend the range of this tow. That's why it's got skis on it. The skis are used for landing. There was only one shot at landing these things. So it's a do or die. You better do it right the first time. There's no coming back. These are actually the only pilots in World War II that uh, did not have an engine, did not carry parachutes in case something went wrong. 'Cause since it was a glider, there was no chance you'd get out and be able to parachute safely. So yeah, let's get started. So I'm going to go to the external view here so you can see me do my rudder and see what this guy does so you know you're doing it right. So I'm just going to go left, right, and you can see him wave his arm. That means I know we're good. So let's get going. So as it takes off, you just want to use your rudder input and try to stay as close behind the aircraft as possible. If you've never done any gliders on Microsoft Flight, this is going to be all very, very new stuff to you. If you've done gliders before, it's the same concept, just bigger aircraft. So you're just going to basically play follow the leader. So I'm already off the ground here. So I'm going to do gear up, which is just going to take the gear away and reduce weight. And like I said, you're just going to play follow the leader. You want to try to keep the line tensioned. You don't want to jerk the line around. You don't want to be too far to the left, too far to the right, too far up or down. And those sudden inputs trying to get back on track could cause it to jar and snap the winch line. And it does model that, does have that in, at least it does with this regular smaller gliders. I've not tried it with this, but I'm sure it does. It's all the same concept. So it typically takes you up to about 3,000 feet above ground level. It does usually do 1 or 2 turns around the airport, and then that's when you're supposed to let go of your winch cable. They said right now you can't do any long distance flight to recreate historical flights with these yet, because the tow planes are just programmed to stay around the airport and get you up to 3,000 feet. That would be cool to have a way to tell it which way to go, like follow a heading and whatnot. That'd be really cool. Maybe in the future they can implement that. So we are doing our left turn again, just follow the leader. Just try to stay right behind it the best you can. I'm at 1,600 feet. Once you do let go of the cable, you do want to stay above 49 knots. That is your stall speed. There's no flaps or anything, so it's just purely controlling the aircraft via rudder, aileron, and elevator. As you can see, I'm struggling a little bit here with this wind, just like we had with the last flight. Pretty windy. And in these cases, just try to make nice, small, smooth movements so you don't snap the winch cable. We're at almost 3,000 feet. I know with the when you're getting towed by the 172, it does a little wing wave letting you know to go ahead and let go. I don't know what it does with this, because when I have done this, I've usually let go at about 2,500. We're at 3,000 feet though, a little higher. Alright, here we go, that's enough. I'm going to go ahead and press the button and release the winch. And we are now officially a glider. You do have trim you can use to help you. And you can just monitor your gauges here for your climb and airspeed. Of course, you can't really climb in these without losing a ton of airspeed, unless you get caught in a really big thermal, and then that probably would push you up some, but this is a pretty big glider, so I don't really know how effective that would actually be. While we're gliding to our point, I'll kind of give you an idea of how gliders actually work and how you see gliders today, the real small skinny ones with the real long wide wings, the little single seaters. The way they can go so far is not actually really by wind. You would think it'd have to be windy in order to fly them, but it really doesn't. You just have to make sure it's a good day to catch thermals, which is updrafts, which is caused by the air being heated at the surface, which causes it to rise up, and pilots will find them and circle around in them, and what that does is it basically is like an elevator. That you ride the thermals up, you catch that updraft, and you just stay in it, and it'll take you up. Sometimes it only works for a few hundred feet. Sometimes you can gain a couple thousand feet out of them. Sometimes you can find them by seeing your cumulonimbus clouds, your like puffy cotton ball-like clouds. Sometimes they ain't really located anywhere near clouds. It just depends. It's all about what you hear and how you feel the aircraft, which it's obviously kind of hard to feel the aircraft in a simulator. But in real life, you would feel that pressure pushing you up. In Microsoft Flight, you have to pay attention to the winds you hear going around the fuselage. And in the regular gliders, you have your little altimeter beeping thing. The faster and higher it beeps, the better you are in that thermal. So I'm just aiming for one of these fields over here somewhere. Maybe that one that's right under my left wing, an inch or so. Well, my screen it's an inch or so. That's about level with my wing. Just to the right of that big white sandy area, or whatever that is. Just cruising along right at 70 knots, going down about 500 feet per minute. At 2,000 feet right now. I do have a slight tailwind right now, which is kind of helpful. More of a crosswind now. Once I get closer, I'm going to turn it to the left so I can try to land some into that headwind. Here's question number 3 for D-Day. It really doesn't pertain to D-Day at all. And really, technically, nothing about the war, but comment your favorite World War II movie or show. And let's see what everybody likes. I personally really like Band of Brothers. It's my favorite. I'd love to have met them guys. Runner-up for that is probably Hacksaw Ridge, and following up on that is probably Saving Private Ryan. That's my top 3. But there's so many other good ones. Fury was good. So many good ones. World War II is my favorite subject to talk about, other than airplanes and rockets. And so we're looking good here. Coming up on our target area. Well, there's really no set target area, it's just really wherever I'm picking to land at. You just don't want to land in trees, obviously. This field up here is looking pretty good. It's just ever so slightly to my left. We'll have a little bit of a crosswind. It's going to be coming from ever so slightly to my front side, so that's good. At least it's not a tailwind of any sort. D-Day question number 4. This one does pertain to the war. Who was the first people to incorporate gliders into the war effort? Was it us, as in the United States? Alright, so here we are coming up on our field. Got plenty of room, so ain't got to worry about trying to get stopped too quick, because this thing will slide. It goes much further than you would think it would. We'll try to kill some of that airspeed and kind of let it set itself down. Losing airspeed rapidly now. Perfect, perfect. And there you go. Landed. Now that you have landed, you can do one last neat little thing, and that is to come down here to this handle. You hit it, and it takes everybody out very quickly, might I add. So here you go. We've unloaded. Got our troops out. Got the Jeep out. I guess it's already got a mechanical problem. Not just picking. They're probably getting it fueled up or something. Who knows? But it's pretty neat. Got you guys back there. Oh, and they're gone. Okay. But yeah. So yeah, you can do that. Open it up, and they're just all gonna be out here. And of course, that's all. You can't get it back in the air or anything. You'd have to restart the flight and go from there in order to get it back up in the air. But that pretty much concludes this video. I hope you did find it useful, helpful, fun, and engaging in the aspect of asked a few questions. I've never really done that in any of my videos. If you'd like to see anything certain in particular in an upcoming video, as always, drop it in the comments, and I'll be sure to put it on the schedule for a to-do. And please like and subscribe. We're almost at the 200 subscriber mark. I never thought I'd actually get that far again. I just do this for fun. I just love airplanes. I love teaching about airplanes. I love everything about airplanes. So yeah, please like, subscribe. Please feel free to comment ideas, things you liked. I'd love to get everybody's opinions on it. Check out that Cherry Point Air Show video. I guarantee you'll like it. It's got some really cool things in it. And we'll catch you at the next video, which I don't know what it'll be on or when it'll be. But thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, safe flying.